What is up? This is Mikhail with Hustle System, where art meets commerce. In this video, we are going to be talking about how to hustle without burnout. Okay, huge topic, super important topic. Myself, if I work a 12 to 16 hour day, that's a good day. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. 8 hours, I don't even feel it. So that's just personal. And Gary Vee talks a lot about hustle, hustle, hustle. I think not a lot of people talk about the downsides of that, and one of the downsides is burnout. I myself struggled with burnout for many, many years. If you've ever listened to any of the podcasts that I've been featured on or watched some of my other videos, you are probably already familiar with some of those things, so we don't need to revisit that. And that is why this topic is near and dear to my heart, okay? And what changed it for me was, there was a few things. So the first was understanding the trade-off. Is you're squeezing performance, right? Just like if you have an orange, you're squeezing juice out of that orange to get that orange juice, to get that performance out of yourself. But there's a point where you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze and you squeeze, and it's like there's no more juice coming out, right? Because you're spent, you're done. And again, that's what burnout feels like. Is you're squeezing and there's nothing more to give. You got nothing more to deliver, and that's a very demoralizing position to be in. And I had a lot of dear friends tell me over and over and over again this advice, and I'm going to tell you this advice because I was stubborn. I didn't listen. I was like, no, I can power through it. I'm a man. I'm a beast. And I think that's the first thing is letting go of the ego. In that, if you're somebody who's watching this video, you probably work pretty hard, and there's nothing dishonorable in taking care of yourself. So, in understanding the trade-off, there's the golden goose, golden egg analogy, right? If you have a golden goose and it creates golden eggs, you don't want to sacrifice the goose because then you don't get any more eggs. What you want to do is you want to sell the eggs. Very, very common analogy. And I think very easy to think about, very easy to understand, very difficult to put into practice. It's something that we understand kind of theoretically, like I should do this, but yet we don't do it, right? We still push late into the night. We still over-caffeinate. We still are prone to take on more projects than we can actually handle. And we do that at the mercy of scaling or achieving our goals or hustling or building the dream. And we kind of self-justify what is almost a masochistic behavior to ourselves in order to continue it, because it's a lot easier to stay in a paradigm that is familiar, even if painful. Again, easier to stay in a paradigm that is familiar, even if painful, rather than to create a new paradigm. And it's a huge concept, and one of the biggest reasons for why people experience burnout, one of the reasons why I experienced burnout. So really going and reevaluating your priorities, okay? If you're someone you're working around the clock, you're working hard, be a little bit unapologetic about putting that golden goose first, because you are the golden goose. Without you, there is not going to be any output. There's not going to be a company. There's not going to be an asset. There's not going to be a whole lot, right? If you go and you sacrifice that. So really go and reprioritize where you're putting your energy. Are you putting your energy into the goose first or the eggs first? Are you putting your energy towards making sure you perform at your best first, or in delivering the outcome for clients? And right away, a lot of you that are listening are going to say, but I need to do this for the client, but what about my job? And that's exactly the point, right? Like I said, it's a lot easier to stay in a paradigm that you're familiar with, even if it's painful, rather than create a new paradigm because it's new and it's uncomfortable. And so your brain is actually tricking you. It is deceiving you into staying inside of that masochistic paradigm that's going to continue creating burnout because you're actually addicted to it. Okay? As soon as I realized this for myself, I had countless friends tell me this is what's going on. And it took a complete collapse at a point in my career where I was just, I physically couldn't get up for me to realize that and to make the switch, okay? So let's talk about some of the switches that you can make as you go to reevaluate these things. Number one is maintenance versus growth. Okay, as entrepreneurs, we put growth first over and over and over and over again. We go growth, 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 right? It's all about it. Billion-dollar company, million-dollar company, more Shopify sales, more ad spend, blah, 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 more employees, manage better, blah, 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 blah. Laundry list of things, 150, 200 things that we need to do. And that's great. But as soon as you go and look at your life and go, wait a minute, what's fueling that growth? what is actually allowing it to grow, right? If you have a plant, what's allowing that plant to grow? What is it? It's the earth, it's the nutrients in the earth, it's the water, and it's the sun. It's getting three very simple components delivered to it in just the right amount to facilitate optimal growth. Well, if you want optimal growth, you have to focus on the maintenance. And that was the big shift for me. As soon as I realized, okay, the better that I can maintain the machine that is me, Mikhail, the more growth I can create for myself, and the more impact and potency I can have in every action I take. And as a result of that, the more results I can actually generate for other people. And that's what allowed me to kind of 10x every minute that I put in. Every seed I plant now, boom, it just explodes. It's a catalyst. As Jesse from Drum Club Studios put it, a grenade that explodes and it creates massive value and massive change in the organizations that I work with. So thinking as putting Golden Goose first, think maintenance versus growth. And instead of focusing on that growth, focus on the maintenance and let the growth take care of itself. Huge. The other concept here is measurable progress in reasonable time. So we always have a goal that's a little bit out of reach. It's like that type A personality where it's like we can never arrive. And that's also an addiction, by the way. That's also a masochistic addiction. This idea of having never arriving, because you feel that if you arrive, you will find yourself happy and content and you will stop performing. And that's a fear that I had for a very long time. And I know countless top performers that have that same exact psychological tendency. And the best way to kind of think about this is to ask yourself the question of, did I make measurable progress? AKA, can I look at some sort of number, some sort of measurable real world outcome? Did I make measurable progress, and did I do it in reasonable time? So, if I ask you to go and respond to an email and you respond to it 5 years from now, that's probably not reasonable time, right? Just be asking yourself, am I getting the results in reasonable time? And again, a third addiction is it's never reasonable. It's always unreasonable. Well, it's like, why don't I have $1 billion empire? Why don't I have hundreds of millions of dollars? Why don't we have the Bentleys, the Rolls Royces, the mansions? Why don't we have it now? We want it now. We want it now. And that's a very childish approach, because what it's saying is you're not happy in the moment. You're not grateful for what you have. So why should life give you more? No matter what life gives you, you're not going to be grateful. So why should life give you more? And as soon as you start to unpack some of these things in your own psychology, you're probably going to realize that you're actually addicted to pain. You're addicted to abuse in some capacity, whether that's self-inflicted abuse or inflicted by somebody else. And you're looking to recreate those patterns. And if somebody's not around, you're actually recreating those patterns for yourself in order to feed the need for the pain that you're psychologically used to. Okay, super, super critical, super important. And there's the concept that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And it's such a widespread concept that it's almost become disqualified. But what I have found is, again, this video is about what? What's this video about? Okay? How to hustle without burning out. How to hustle without burning out. Now, you have to ask yourself if that's what you want. Do you actually want to hustle without burning out? Or do you want to be a martyr? In your mind, are you a martyr who hustles, burns out, and are addicted to workaholism? Are you addicted to being a workaholic? And then ask yourself the harder question of, is that the reasonable thing? And let's go beyond reasonable. Is that the honorable thing? Because this is a huge thing. As a society, we've made it the honorable thing to overwork, right? Nobody wants to be the lazy person. No, that's terrible. You call me, if somebody calls me lazy, I'm like, wow, that's terrifying for me. So we go to the other polar extreme, the other opposite extreme. But let me ask you a question. Is it honorable to not see your family? Is it honorable to not show up at your friend's birthday? Is it honorable to have people that are close to you that can't reach you and that you share very little with because you've spent your time working? Is that honorable? So I think we've really deluded ourselves in order to feed that delusional reality of, the masochistic work ethic, the type A personality, the results-driven no holds barred performance at the expense of everything else. We've made that an iconic pinnacle to reach for, but that's not the pinnacle. See, you've been self-tricked. You've self-deluded yourself into thinking that's the pinnacle. And I'm telling you right now in this video, and I hope that those of you that are watching this video resonate with this. I've been at that pinnacle, and it's not the pinnacle at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's a very powerful low, where you're working around the clock, you're overworked, you're burned out, you can barely feel your brain, you barely even feel human. Anybody resonate with this? Where you go and look in the mirror and you ask yourself if you're even human at all, okay? So is that the honorable thing? And it's for you to decide. It's not for me to decide for you. For me, it wasn't. For me, the much more honorable thing was to find balance, to understand that it's about the journey, and that success is here now with you. That success that you seek, okay? Let's talk about external, internal validation. You seek that success because you're not whole, right? You're not complete. You're seeking something outside of yourself. And the big differentiator here is achievement versus fulfillment, okay? If you want to go and achieve certain things and get them, do that, but don't confuse the two. Achievement and fulfillment are not the same thing. You can go and build a $100 million company as an achievement, but whether or not that makes you fulfilled, that's up to you to answer. It's not up to anybody else to answer. And I think that's where a lot of people make the mistake. They look to these hustlers, they look to these entrepreneurs, and they say, well, if only I did what they did and what they're doing, then I'll be fulfilled. Okay, erase that from your mind. Say, no, if I did something close to what they did, then I would feel a sense of achievement. But the fulfillment could come from other places. That fulfillment can come from time with your family, time with your friends, making real human connections, right? It doesn't mean you have to have one or the other. Okay, so those are some really practical things. A lot to unpack in this video. So my recommendation is, again, understand the trade-off, be aware of the trade-off, be very, very aware of the trade-off. Look at yourself. You're the golden goose. Understand that without the golden goose, there are no golden eggs. Okay, they simply don't exist. Focus on the maintenance to drive the growth, because you can't drive a car super fast if it's all messed up, guys. It's not gonna work. It's gonna break apart, it's gonna fall apart, and it's gonna crash. It's not gonna be good. It's gonna be ugly. And understand that you have to make measurable progress in reasonable time. It's about the journey, and sit down and really reevaluate your addictions to the paradigms that you're in, and ask yourself if the words and actions that you're performing align with the vision that you have of yourself in your mind. Again, do the words and actions that you are performing align with the perception that you have of yourself in your mind? This has been Mikhail with Hustle System, where art meets commerce. In this video, we unpacked a powerful topic on how to hustle without burnout. What I'd like you to do right now is look below this video, and next to the subscribe button, you're gonna notice a notification bell. I'd like you to click that bell so you can be notified when I upload more important videos like this. I do this for you, I do this with love, and it's really a way for me to give back. Hopefully this video touched you, and if you're interested, I do have a mentoring program that is spinning up. It's 12 weeks, it's super awesome, everything you need to know about digital marketing and how to start, scale, and optimize your business. Really cool. I'll include a link in the description. As always, this has been your host, Mikhail, with lots of love. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.